Today, we are diving into some major developments that have just reshaped Australia's immigration and employment landscape. On 24 November 2025, the Australian government announced significant overhauls to the 186 temporary residence transition visa employment rules, alongside a series of must-know immigration updates that could affect thousands of skilled workers, employers, and permanent residency hopefuls across the country. Whether you're currently on a visa, planning your career in Australia, or advising clients, this is critical news that cannot be ignored. Let's start with the 186 Temporary Residence Transition, or TRT visa changes. For years, this visa has provided a pathway for temporary skilled workers already employed in Australia to transition into permanent residency, usually after being employed with the same sponsor for 3 years. Previously, the rules were relatively straightforward. Applicants needed to demonstrate relevant work experience, maintain good health, meet English language requirements, and have continuous employment with their sponsoring employer. However, the government has now introduced a suite of changes aimed at tightening eligibility, improving workforce standards, and aligning migration pathways more closely with Australia's economic needs. One of the headline updates is the revised employment criteria. Under the new framework, employers sponsoring TRT visa holders will need to provide more robust evidence of ongoing employment, including proof of full-time hours, detailed pay slips, and confirmation that the role genuinely aligns with the nominated occupation. Casual or irregular employment will no longer be sufficient. The government has explicitly stated that this is part of a broader effort to ensure that permanent residency is granted to individuals who are genuinely contributing to the Australian economy in a stable and predictable manner. This move is expected to reduce instances where temporary workers transition to permanent residency without consistent employment, which has been a concern for policymakers. Additionally, the new rules introduce stricter labor market testing. Employers will need to demonstrate that there are no suitable Australian workers available for the role before nominating a TRT visa applicant. While this has been a requirement in the past, the thresholds for evidence are now significantly higher. This means detailed recruitment records, proof of advertising in multiple channels, and documented interview processes will all be scrutinized during the visa assessment. For employers, this is a clear signal that sponsorship responsibilities are being taken more seriously, and for applicants, it emphasizes the importance of working for committed, compliant employers. Another major update is related to the English language requirement. While previous regulations allowed for a degree of flexibility, the government is now placing a stronger emphasis on English proficiency for permanent residency applicants under the TRT stream. This is intended to ensure that skilled migrants can integrate more effectively into the workforce and wider Australian society. Applicants will need to demonstrate proficiency through recognized tests or qualifications, and exemptions will be limited to very specific circumstances. Alongside these TRT-specific changes, the government has also provided updates on broader immigration pathways. There has been a noticeable shift toward favoring occupations that are in high demand across Australia. Skilled migration lists are being reviewed and updated more frequently to reflect labor shortages in key sectors, such as healthcare, technology, construction, and engineering. For workers in these fields, this could represent an opportunity to secure visas and permanent residency more quickly, provided they meet the updated requirements. Conversely, those in oversaturated sectors may face longer processing times or additional scrutiny. The Australian government has also emphasized compliance and monitoring in these new policies. Businesses found to be sponsoring employees in ways that do not comply with the updated TRT rules could face stricter penalties, including fines or suspension from the program. For workers, this means it is essential to verify that your employer is fully compliant before applying. The government's goal is clear: a fair system where permanent residency is awarded to those making a meaningful contribution to the workforce, while protecting the interests of both Australian workers and international talent. These changes come at a time when Australia's economy is navigating multiple pressures, from skills shortages to post-pandemic recovery in various industries. By tightening the TRT visa requirements, the government aims to ensure that migration continues to support economic growth without compromising workforce integrity. For international applicants, understanding these changes is critical. Applications submitted under old assumptions may be rejected if they do not meet the new, more stringent criteria. Finally, it's important to note that these updates are part of a larger trend in Australian immigration policy, a move toward merit-based, demand-driven migration pathways with an emphasis on transparency, compliance, and labor market needs. If you are planning to apply for a TRT visa,